Watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates two-day Global Investors Summit in Bhopal. Says Deregulation Commission will help create investment-friendly ecosystem in the states. Germany's free market conservatives win election as far-right AfD leaps to second place. Friedrich Merz in pole position to become next Chancellor. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warns Hamas as it halts ceasefire talks until the release of promised Palestinians. Delhi-bound American Airlines flight from New York diverted mid-air to Rome after security threat will depart for Delhi later today. And in Champions Trophy, Virat Kohli's century headlines India's comprehensive win against Pakistan in Dubai. In a stunning election result that is sending shockwaves through Europe and the world, conservative parties have triumphed in Germany, with Friedrich Merz poised to become the country's next chancellor. We get you a detailed report.
Yet another European country will now be governed by conservatives. The leader of the Christian Democratic Union, or CDU, Friedrich Merz, led his alliance to victory, securing more than 28% of the vote.
Thank you very much for the trust that you place in us and also in me personally. I'm aware of the responsibility and I also understand the magnitude of the task that now lies ahead of us. I face this with the utmost respect and I know that it will not be easy.
CDU far surpassed the Social Democrats under outgoing Chancellor Olaf Scholz, whose party slumped to an all-time low of just 16%. Meanwhile, the right-wing Alternative for Germany, AfD, has catapulted to a prominent place in the parliament. The party is celebrating its best-ever result. Their leader, Alice Weidel, has expressed a readiness to govern with the CDU-CSU alliance, though that remains highly unlikely at this stage. Most of Germany's mainstream parties have vowed to keep the AfD out of any coalition.
Wir haben alle gemeinsam.
We have achieved a historic result. We have never been stronger in the federal government. We have become the second strongest force as Alternative for Germany. And we have now firmly established ourselves as a people's party.
Merz is heading into coalition talks without a strong negotiating hand, although his CDU-CSUs emerged as the largest party. It achieved its second lowest post-war result. It remains unclear whether Merz will need one or two coalition partners to secure a majority, as the fate of smaller parties is still uncertain, potentially complicating the parliamentary arithmetic. A three-party coalition could be especially challenging, making it harder for Germany to demonstrate clear leadership. Chancellor Scholz, Social Democrat SPD, suffered a historic defeat, securing just 16.5% of the vote, marking their worst results since World War II, while the Greens garnered 11.8%. Voter turnout hit 83% this time, the highest since before reunification in 1990. The election results come at a time of unprecedented upheaval in international politics. With US President Donald Trump's recent actions, including direct talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin over the Ukraine, Merz and his allies are calling for greater European independence, particularly when it comes to matters of defense. Merz has made it clear that Europe can no longer rely solely on the United States, a sentiment that has resonated across the continent. Protracted coalition talks could leave Scholz in a caretaker role for months, delaying crucial policies needed to revive Germany's economy after 2 years of contraction, with companies battling against global competition. The future of Europe's political landscape will depend on how mainstream parties respond to these challenges. Aarti Rana's report for DD India.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said on Sunday that his country was prepared to resume fighting against Hamas after the Palestinian group accused it of endangering a 5-week-old Gaza truce by suspending prisoner releases. The first phase of the truce, which has largely halted more than 15 months of devastating war in the Gaza Strip, is due to expire in early March, and details of a planned subsequent phase have not yet been agreed. With tensions again surging over the deal, Israel on Sunday announced an expansion of military operations in West Bank. Israel said on Sunday that it was delaying the release of hundreds of Palestinian prisoners it had planned to free the day before until Hamas met its conditions. Prime Minister Netanyahu's office said that Israel was waiting to deliver the 620 Palestinian prisoners and detainees until the release of the next hostages has been assured and without the humiliating ceremonies. That was a reference to recent handovers by Hamas that UN officials said went against international law because they were not respectful. The White House on Sunday backed Israel's decision to delay releasing the Palestinian prisoners, citing the barbaric treatment of Israeli hostages by the Hamas group. Both sides have said that they intend to start talks on a second stage, which mediators say aims to agree the return of all remaining hostages and the full withdrawal of Israeli troops. The 6 hostages freed on Saturday were the last living Israeli captives due to be handed over during the first phase of the ceasefire. The bodies of 4 dead Israeli hostages were to be released next week. The mother of Shelley Shem Tov said that the mission is not yet complete, asking for the release of all hostages from Gaza. Tal Shoham and Evera Mengitso were released first in southern Gaza's Rafah, followed by Elia Cohen, Omer Shem Tov and Omer Wenkert, all seized from the site of the Nova Music Festival in Hamas's October 7, 2023 attack on southern Israel. Hamas later handed over a 6th hostage in Gaza City, Hisham al-Said, with no public ceremony. The UN General Assembly and Security Council will hold sessions to discuss the Ukraine crisis on Monday, which marks the 3rd anniversary of the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. The 193-member UN General Assembly will resume its 11th emergency special session at 1500 hours GMT to vote for 2 draft resolutions relevant to the Ukraine crisis. The General Assembly will vote for draft resolutions submitted by the United States and the EU. Meanwhile, the 15-member Security Council is set to meet on the same day, discussing the ongoing conflict. European Union leaders will hold a special summit on the Russia-Ukraine conflict on March 6th as US President Donald Trump makes overtures to Moscow over their heads. European leaders have been shaken by Trump's overtures to Russia to end the 3-year-old conflict and improve relations between the two powers. French President Emmanuel Macron called 2 meetings on Ukraine in Paris last week and will go to Washington on Monday for talks with Trump. Light beams illuminated the skies over Lyshakiev Cemetery in Ukraine's western city of Lviv on Sunday on the eve of the 3rd anniversary of Russia-Ukraine conflict. The large-scale light installation called Lights of Memory paid tributes. Hundreds of people gathered to attend the service and commemorate the soldiers killed in the conflict. European Union buildings across Brussels lit up in the colors of the Ukrainian flag on Sunday evening to mark the 3-year anniversary of the Russian-Ukraine conflict. Since the start of the conflict, the European Union has welcomed millions of Ukrainian refugees on its soil and says its members have provided some 48.5 billion euros in military aid to Ukraine since February 2022. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has repeatedly called on his allies to honor all their promises to supply Ukraine with weapons. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni addressed the Conservative Political Action Conference 2025 via video conferencing on Sunday. During her speech, Meloni called out the left's double standard, claiming leaders like Donald Trump, Javier Milei and India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi are unfairly branded as threats to democracy. She argued that liberals once praised global leftist networks but now fear the rising influence of leaders like them worldwide.
Today, when Trump, Meloni, Milei or maybe Modi talk, They are called a threat to democracy. This is the left's double standard. But we're used to it. We are used to it. And the good news is people no longer believe in their lies.
United States President Donald Trump made a statement to lay off the USAID personnel around the world. Trump administration is to send them all on paid administrative leaves, eliminating 2,000 positions. U.S. Agency for International Development is beginning to implement a reduction in force. President Donald Trump and Elon Musk contend the aid and development work as wasteful and furthers a liberal agenda. Trump ordered a 90-day pause on foreign aid shortly after taking office, halting funding for everything from programs that fight starvation and deadly diseases to providing shelters for millions of displaced people across the globe. The administration has approved exceptions to the freeze totaling $5.3 billion, mostly for security and counter-narcotics programs. After Kash Patel, now multiple U.S. agencies have told employees not to respond immediately to a demand by Elon Musk's Doge to list their accomplishments in the past week or be fired. FBI Director Kash Patel reaffirmed the agency's independence in a message to the employees, stating the FBI, through the Office of the Director, is in charge of all our review processes. Musk leads the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, which in the first weeks of Trump's administration has laid off more than 20,000 workers and offered buyouts to another 75,000. An American Airlines flight from New York to New Delhi was diverted to Rome due to a security concern. The threat later determined to be non-credible. Law enforcement in Rome inspected and cleared the aircraft to redepart. The flight was carrying about 200 people on board, departing from John F. Kennedy International Airport, bound for Indira Gandhi International Airport in New Delhi. The airline received bomb threat while flying over Caspian Sea and later landed at Rome's Leonardo da Vinci Airport in Italy. The flight will stay overnight in Rome before continuing for Delhi on Monday. In Bangladesh, Dhaka University students have issued a strong demand for the immediate resignation of Home Advisor Jahangir Alam Chaudhry following a recent spike in criminal activities. The protest began on the campus early on Monday after a gold trader was shot by unidentified men in Dhaka's Banasri area. Chanting slogans such as "One demand, one goal, Jahangir must resign," the students criticized the Home Advisor for failing to maintain public safety. The protesters expressed frustration over increasing incidents of killing, robberies and rapes, urging effective measures to restore law and order. Bangladesh embracing the 111th anniversary of the Indian film industry, exhibiting Journey of Indian Cinema at the Indira Gandhi Culture Centre. The High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, Pranay Verma, inaugurated the exhibition while calling upon people of Bangladesh to take part in the forthcoming Waves Summit. Award-winning acclaimed documentary, The Elephant Whispers, was screened at the venue, recognizing the rich heritage and evolution of Indian cinema. A number of film personalities and art enthusiasts and students from the film-making institutions were present on the occasion. Dubai hosted the 14th annual Sharjah Light Festival with the theme Art Meets Technology, Transforming the Emirates Skyline. The light event altered Emirates' iconic landmarks into a spectacular canvas of light and sound for nearly 3 weeks, captivating interests of global audience. International artists created mesmerizing installations that blend contemporary light art with the rich cultural heritage of Sharjah. The festival became one of UAE's most anticipated cultural events, showcasing the intersection of modern technology and artistic expression.
With regards to the Sharjah Light Festival, one of our anchor events in the region and in Sharjah, Sharjah Commerce and Tourism Development Authority has been organizing this. This is the 14th edition. Every year, I always say the first edition and the last edition and the following editions will always have the same main strategic objective, is to showcase Sharjah using technology, sound, light, art, and to embrace and bring in all the different artists and from different parts of the world, international artists with a lot of talent and skills to come and showcase their talents here in Sharjah. So it's a very strong platform to have in Sharjah.
Pope Francis, battling double pneumonia, remains in a critical condition with initial slight insufficiency in his kidney function, the Vatican said on Sunday, on his 10th day in hospital as Catholics around the world prayed for the 88-year-old's recovery. The Pope, the leader of the worldwide Catholic Church since 2013, was admitted to Rome's Gemelli Hospital on February 14th with breathing difficulties. He was initially diagnosed with bronchitis, but this developed into pneumonia in both the lungs. People around the globe are praying for the Pope's recovery, attending masses, lighting candles and holding prayers. In Italy, Archbishop of Bologna and Catholics in Honduras, Brazil led a special prayer for the Pope's speedy recovery. With candles flickering in the quiet of the Basilica, Zuppi implored the Lord for the Pope's help. You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, first ever conference for women peacekeepers begins in New Delhi. India and UK set to relaunch long-delayed free trade agreement negotiations aiming to boost trade and investment. And over 600 million pilgrims have taken the holy dip at Prayagraj Triveni Sangam during the ongoing Maha Kumbh 2025.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated the Mega Invest Madhya Pradesh Global Investors Summit 2025 in central India's Bhopal on Monday, highlighting the state's vast potential for investors and industrialists. The two-day summit will serve as an important platform to establish Madhya Pradesh as a global investment hub and will include events such as departmental summits, specialized sessions on pharma and medical devices, transport and logistics, industry, skill development, tourism and micro, small and medium enterprises, among others. Representatives from over 60 countries, officials from various international organizations, over 300 prominent industry leaders from India and policymakers are participating in the summit. Addressing the gathering, Prime Minister Modi said the state gives ample opportunities for excellent returns for investors.
भारत के विकसित भविष्य में तीन सेक्टर्स की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका रहने वाली है। ये तीनों सेक्टर्स करोड़ों नई जॉब क्रिएट करने वाले हैं। ये सेक्टर्स हैं टेक्सटाइल, टूरिज्म और टेक्नोलॉजी। आप टेक्सटाइल के सेक्टर को ही देखें तो भारत कॉटन, सिल्क, पॉलिएस्टर और विस्कोस का दूसरा सबसे बड़ा प्रोड्यूसर है। भारत का टेक्सटाइल सेक्टर करोड़ों लोगों को रोजगार देता है। भारत के पास टेक्सटाइल से जुड़ी एक पूरी ट्रेडिशन भी है, स्किल भी है और एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप भी है। और मध्य प्रदेश तो एक प्रकार से भारत की कॉटन कैपिटल है। भारत की करीब 25% ऑर्गेनिक कॉटन सप्लाई मध्य प्रदेश से ही होती है।
Prime Minister Modi also launched the industrial policies of Madhya Pradesh on the occasion. The PM unveiled more than 18 new policies of the state, including those connected to industries, food, export, MSME, startups, GCC, semiconductors, drones, tourism and film production. In line with his commitment to boost connectivity, infrastructure and farmers' income, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will release the 19th installment of the PM Kisan at Bhagalpur in the state of Bihar on Monday. More than 9.7 crore farmers will receive direct financial benefits amounting to more than 21,500 crore rupees. He will also dedicate rail projects. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also visit Guwahati in the northeastern state of Assam to attend a program that celebrates the culture of the state, especially the tribals. On the 25th, Prime Minister will also inaugurate the Advantage Assam 2.0 Investment and Infrastructure Summit 2025 in Guwahati. It will include an inaugural session, 7 ministerial sessions and 14 thematic sessions. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar visited the Kaziranga National Park in Assam along with the foreign ambassadors and delegates. The minister called it a surreal experience, viewing early morning safari at the national park. The tour concluded with a good experience of them witnessing the rhinos, water buffaloes and deers. Assam's tourism is growing at a fast pace, providing the northeastern state a higher profile and international recognition. The Kaziranga Park has already crossed the margin of 300,000 tourists, setting up a higher trend.
We are, of course, here for Advantage Assam. We are going to Guwahati after this. So we want to, get more, Assam and Northeast states, give it a higher profile, get more international interest, more tourists, more investors. So I think it's a very, very good direction. And to see this, early morning, it's a great way to start a day.
Dr. S. Jaishankar and the foreign delegates will attend a grand Jhumur dance performance called Jhumur Binandini in Guwahati on Monday, followed by the two-day Advantage Assam 2.0 Investment and Infrastructure Summit 2025, scheduled to be held at Khanapara on February 25th and 26th. The event will feature over 8,000 Jhumur artists from across Assam performing at Sharjah Stadium. Efforts are underway to relaunch negotiations on the long-pending free trade agreement between India and the United Kingdom on Monday. India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal met UK Secretary of State for Business and Trade Jonathan Reynolds in New Delhi today. Later in the day, the two leaders will hold a bilateral meeting to further accelerate the FTA talks, which have been under negotiation for a long time now. The agreement aims to enhance trade and investment between both the countries by reducing tariffs and easing market access for businesses. The India-UK FTA negotiations were launched on January 13, 2022. The first ever conference for women peacekeepers on the theme Women in Peacekeeping, a Global South Perspective, began in New Delhi today. The two-day conference is being organized by the Ministry of External Affairs in collaboration with the Ministry of Defense and the Center for United Nations Peacekeeping. The conference brings together the participation of women peacekeepers from 35 troop contributing countries from the Global South. In a record, over 600 million devotees have taken a holy dip at Triveni Sangam since the inception of the Maha Kumbh. Over half of India's 1.1 million Sanatan followers have taken a dip in the holy confluence, and this number is expected to surpass 650 million by the final Amrit Snan on February 26 on the occasion of Maha Shivratri. This Maha Kumbh has seen the largest participation in any religious, cultural or social event. Let's talk of sports now. Star batter Virat Kohli slammed an unbeaten 100 to lead India to a 6-wicket win over Pakistan in the marquee clash of the Champions Trophy in Dubai. The ace cricketer anchored another chase as India put one foot in the semis of the tournament. The player of the match also surpassed several milestones in the game that is considered mother of all battles. Take a look at this report.
Silenced his detractors as he powered India to a 6-wicket win over Pakistan in the high-octane clash at the Champions Trophy in Dubai. Critics were baying for his head, especially after a string of modest performances in the recent past. Kohli anchored a tricky chase with an unbeaten 100 against the arch-rivals as India inched closer to a semi-final berth after second successive win in the tournament. Electing to bat, Pakistan were all out for 241 with Saud Shakil and Mohammad Rizwan scoring the bulk of the runs. Indian spinner Kuldeep Yadav was pick of the bowlers, returning with a figure of 3 for 40 runs. In chase, skipper Rohit Sharma began briskly but was dismissed soon. Kohli joined opener Shubman Gill, and the duo put on 69 runs for the second wicket partnership to calm jitters in the dressing room. After Shubman Gill's departure, Shreyas Iyer and Kohli accumulated risk-free runs in a stand of 114. In the match, Kohli reached multiple milestones, notching up his 51st one-day international 100. He also became the fastest batsman to reach 14,000 ODI runs, eclipsing the landmark 63 innings fewer than previous record holder Sachin Tendulkar. Kohli also broke the record for most catches by an Indian fielder, surpassing former skipper Mohammad Azharuddin's record of 156 catches in ODI format. Next, India will take on Kiwis on Sunday in Dubai, which again promises to be a battle royale. Bureau Report, DD India.
All right, that's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the respective QR codes on the screen to download. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.